Hello, Rolesville. This is Ronnie, your mayor. Good to be with you today. We're out here in Millbridge Nature Park in Rolesville. It's a beautiful day out here. I wish you was here with us. We really enjoying being out here this morning. The sun is shining. It's not too breezy. It's a really nice morning to be out. Hope everybody's enjoying the parks and all now that spring is here. People are able to get out and do things. So I hope everybody's enjoying that. And we're going to talk a little bit today about Arbor Day. And I'm going to learn a little bit about it. I know a little bit. We've been having them for a while. And I got as my special guest, Eddie Henderson from the Parks and Rec Department. Been there for a while. He kind of do some work with this, and we're going to talk to him a little bit and let him educate us on kind of what's going on here in Rolesville with this. So welcome, Eddie. Thank you for joining the show. Hope you're doing good.
Yes, sir.
How long you been with the town? Tell us a little bit about who Eddie is, because I know a lot of people know you, but maybe some watching that don't know you.
Sure. So I've been with the town just about 4 years now. I started in April of 2022. I started in Parks and Rec, and actually recently, just January of this year, I moved over to Public Works. So I am still doing the same type of work. The job for the most part is the same. Now I just got the Public Works logo on. But I oversee facilities and grounds maintenance. So I work pretty closely with the Public Works Director and still with the Parks Director as well. It really is a team effort, and of course we couldn't do it without all the coordinators and then all of the maintenance workers and the crew leads and everyone else. So it really it's a team effort.
Yeah. Well, thank you for correcting that, because I think I did introduce you as being in the Parks and Rec, because you was there for so long.
Yes.
And you're still doing the same job.
It's
so
very similar.
I guess being you in Public Works, you still do just about all the park work, don't you?
Yes.
So Arbor Day. You've been involved in Arbor Day for quite a while now. Tell us a little bit about what that is.
Sure. And I'll start too with, when I started with the town 4 years ago, my background is in horticulture. So I went to NC State, and that's what I studied there. So I was immediately identified, and I think part of the reason why I was hired was because I was the plant guy, and the town didn't have anyone who had that type of expertise. So when I joined the town 4 years ago, this was hey, Eddie, this is right up your lane, right up your alley. And so Arbor Day was kind of given to me to work on, along with our special events coordinator. But I was heavily involved from the beginning, also with Tree City as well, which is pretty closely related to Arbor Day. But that's kind of how I got involved. And the Arbor Day event has kind of gone through several different iterations over the past few years. But that's how I got involved from the beginning. And like I said, we've done like days of service for Arbor Day. We've done this event, which we'll talk about a little bit later, is going to be a little bit of a different twist this year. But I've been involved with all the Arbor Days since I started with the town.
Yeah. So were you having any experience with Arbor Day before coming with the town, or just since you've been with town?
Not a whole lot.
What does it mean to you personally?
Sure.
I guess.
So Arbor Day, to me personally, is just about the importance of trees, right? I know there's, but people always think about, you've got the, trees produce oxygen, right? So we breathe out CO2 and they absorb the carbon dioxide, and then they produce oxygen. So that's kind of like what they tell you in school, and of course it's true, but trees do so much more. I mean, right now we're sitting, and the audience can't see it, of course, but we're sitting positioned in such a way where the sun is not shining directly on our eyes, right? So they provide shade, they provide cooling effect in urban environments. They provide so many things, whether it's food, we're looking at like pecan trees or fruit trees. They provide wildlife habitat. Kids love to climb trees. I was actually out walking the park yesterday here with my son, and the kids have set something up pretty cool where they can kind of swing around in the trees in the back there. So entertainment, trees do so much for us. And I think there's a term called like plant blindness, where you don't even notice everything around you that is green, and everything around you that is provided by trees. And so I guess my point is, for me, trees are so much more than just producing, oxygen, right? Um, they have stories. Provide great memories. They provide food. They provide shelter. I didn't even get into, all the, we're not obviously cutting down these trees here for lumber, but almost, I'd probably say 100% of us who are living or renting somewhere live in
Right.
something that's built by
Right.
trees, by lumber. So they're just a huge part
Mhm.
of all of our lives. I love trees. I'm a tree hugger. Um, so I do kind of feel a little bit of pain when there's development here and there or trees are cut down, but I know it's part of the natural process of how towns develop and the area, of course, is developing. But um, for me, I really like trees. I love trees.
Yeah, and we use anytime we use paper, we use paper a lot.
Yes.
You
Hmm.
have go to McDonald's, you get a paper bag and
Yeah,
stuff. So
napkins.
you- we get used paper. So
Hmm.
you're right. We'll probably be surprised how much we do rely on.
Hmm.
I'll use the word rely. We do rely on trees
We do.
as part of our lifestyle for sure. So Rolesville is a growing town,
Hmm.
growing community, and I'm sure trees are being eliminated for the purpose of, new houses and new
Hmm.
developments and stuff like that. So as a citizen of Rolesville, as a people of Rolesville, why is Arbor Day important to them?
So one of the main highlights of Arbor Day is planting trees. Like I spoke about before, we're always kind of doing something a little bit different with Arbor Day, but the Arbor Day event with the town.
Hmm.
But the main important part is we always are planting at least one tree. Sometimes we plant a lot more trees, but we're always at planting at least one tree. Um, so that's the key part of it. Is we, as everyone notices in town, there's a lot of development going on, and so we really want to encourage people to plant trees in their yard. It doesn't have to be a massive white oak or something, which is actually what we're going to be planting in the park on Friday. And again, we'll talk about that later. But you could plant a smaller, medium-sized tree, and we're going to be giving those out later, on Friday. Um, but you can just be planting something, in your yard,
Hmm.
because again, a lot of this, that's one of the best things you can do, with your yard, with your garden, is just to plant a few small trees for wildlife and just for also you to enjoy. But that's that key part of Arbor Day, is just to highlight the importance of trees and also to get out and plant more trees.
Yeah, and I think the show will be coming out on Thursday of this week, and Arbor Day is Friday the 24th. So if someone comes up here to Arbor Day, it starts 5:30, I think 5:30. What should they expect to see when they get here?
Sure. So the first part of the event is going to be, like I said, our staple, which is the tree planting. So we'll be on the other side of Millbridge Nature
Mm-hmm.
Park, just on the other side of the clearing here, and we'll be going to be planting 3 white oak trees. They get quite big, so um, we're putting them in a spot where we've got some plans for the future to create like a little like picnic area, and we wanted to provide some shade there. So the first part of the planting is that we're going to be planting. They're going to be decent sized trees. They're going to be about, they're ball and burlap, so they've got a big root ball. They've got a decent sized caliper. They're going to be about 8, 9, 10 feet tall. So we'll be planting those with volunteers. We've had our sign up sheet set up for a while now. Um, and I think we've got a good number of volunteers. So that's going to be the first part of the event. It's probably going to go pretty quick. Um, so depending on how long the tree planting takes, we will then also have vendors or not, booths set up, tents set up over on the amphitheater side of the park. So we're going to have representation from Roseville Tree Board, of course, the town, the Neuse River Hawks, the Wake Forest chapter. They've been doing a lot of work with us in the
Mm-hmm.
past over at Main
Right.
Street Park, and to remove invasive plants and also replant with natives. There's also the Rolesville Garden Club. We spoke about Pam earlier, and
Mm-hmm.
they will be there as well. So there'll be multiple tents set up here. A lot of plants will be given away. Some trees will be given away. Um, and then at about 7:30, whenever it gets dark enough, we're going to start playing the Lorax. We'll have popcorn and drinks for people. So that's the little bit of a twist this year. We're doing something a little bit different, which is playing a movie right kind of behind me here at the
Right.
stage. Um, So even if you are not able to show up for the tree planting, please show up. You know, if you can only get there a little bit later, get here a little bit later, you can show up and still get some free giveaways. I know there's going to be a lot of educational stuff available for kids and adults as well. We're going to have a lot of resources and more trees and other free plants available to people to bring home and put in your garden. So we're really trying to kind of practice what we preach, right? So I spoke about earlier, we really wanted to have people highlight the importance of trees, and so what we're hoping to do is give away a lot of trees and plants to people to bring home and put in their yards.
Yeah, that sounds really great. It sounds like, and I may be wrong about this, it sounds like it's a bigger event than we ever had when it comes to Arbor Day.
We're definitely, we're hoping so. At least with the number of volunteers, we've definitely got
More activities than nothing
yes,
else.
we do have definitely more activities than we have in the past. The one part that I didn't mention too is that we will also kind of read off our Arbor Day proclamation. I think we're also going to do the Mayor's Monarch Pledge proclamation as well. So I believe you'll be there and you'll be reading that off. So that is actually going to kind of be, I have to double check with our special events coordinator, but that should either be right before we plant the trees or in between planting the trees and then the movie and all that. But it will be done. But we're hoping this year is going to be bigger and better than previous years.
It sounds really great, and a lot you guys have worked very very hard on that, and yeah, I think Friday is going to be a nice day. So I hope everybody can come out and enjoy that, and maybe take a tree back with them and plant somewhere. You mentioned the butterfly, monarch butterfly effort, and then I think around that is the pollinated gardens and stuff. So let's switch to that a little bit. I know that's a little bit new to Rolesville. I think it's something that former Commissioner Paul Vilga had a lot of passion, interest in. When he was serving, we got it, kind of the program going. Tell us a little bit about pollinated gardens. Why are they important? What's going on with that?
Sure. So just a little bit of history too. Again, that was one of the reasons that kind of led, or at least one of the reasons I stood out as a candidate for the position I've got, was that I did have that experience, and I had worked at the J.C. Ralston Arboretum for an internship years ago, and I had also worked over at Plant Delights Nursery, or the Juniper Level Botanic Garden over in Raleigh. So I worked in botanic gardens in the past. That was what I thought I really wanted to do when I got right out of state, but of course there was a different path that I went on. But when I was hired in 2022, there's a program that we were trying to start. I know Commissioner Vilga was a big part of it, which was the Naturally Roseville, which is just kind of like an all-encompassing program and term for, let's plant more trees, let's plant more pollinator gardens, all of that. So again, with me being identified as the plant guy, it was, take this and run with it. So what we did is we started off with the pollinator garden at Town Hall, and then we've just been kind of adding since then. But pollinator gardens are essentially they're landscaping that are designed not only for people but also for wildlife. So it's not, sometimes when we plant things, we plant around the foundation of a home. It is really just, it's more like structural. It's just sometimes people will plant things with thorns, to keep people as a deterrent out, or just keep something with a nice symmetrical shape and just make it look attractive. But the goal with pollinator gardens is to provide shelter, food, and sometimes even water and beyond for wildlife. And that could be anything from bees, butterflies, birds. We don't want to attract a lot of the, the mammals and whatnot, the mice and all that. But the main thing is with all the flowers and the some of the grasses, they're all providing habitat and then also food for our insects and some bird species as well.
That's good. And also, some subdivisions got on board with pollinated gardens.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. And I forgot to answer the last part of your question, but the importance of them, going back to kind of what we were talking about earlier, with all the development that's going on in town. So there is obviously, habitat that's being lost. So one of the best things that people can do is to go and plant pollinator gardens in their garden, in their front yard, your backyard. Even if you just have a little, you live in a townhome and you just have a small little, a very small postage stamp size backyard or just a patio, you could even just put plants in containers and do that. But that's one of the best things you can do. And the importance of them is to, one, it's to kind of make up for some of that habitat loss. And two, it's just, there's also, the importance is to kind of, improve your well-being, improve, the environment that we all live in. So we don't want to see some of these species kind of disappear from our area, and so we want to provide, food sources and habitat for them so that they can continue to live here and that we can enjoy them. And then I already forgot, what was the question you had just asked?
Yeah. The neighborhoods,
Yes.
is
Yes.
any HOA associations kind of got involved
Yes.
in it? Neighborhood themselves, as a whole,
Yes.
got involved in pollinator
So
gardens?
we now have in our LDO, it's one of the types of open space that a developer can put in. So it's written into our code now where if you want, you have like a certain amount of space and there's really not a whole lot you could do with it. You can't really build on it, and it might not, might be too close to, let's say, a road or a greenway or something. It may not be suited for any purpose other than just leaving it open. So we do have that option available to developers to, and they get certain credits and other things for it, but to install pollinator gardens there. Just the first one that comes to mind, there will be a pollinator garden installed pretty close to the greenway in Parker Ridge that is being, I think it's built right now, but it's about to be finished and opened. But that'll be right behind the ball field, so there'll be greenways there, and then there'll be a nice pollinator garden right there. So that option is available to developers as an open space type. And if I'm messing up some of the planning language, I'm not
Yeah.
in the planning department. That's kind of how I understand it. And a lot of developers are kind of taking us up on that and installing those because they know that it looks good on, not only on paper but also in person, and people enjoy being able to walk through those or even just walk by them, and kind of see, just enjoy nature and not, necessarily out in the woods, but just something where there's a lot of activity. There's literally a lot of buzz in these areas.
That's great. So if it's a neighborhood, established neighborhood, before we had the new codes developed, that want to get involved and want to start a garden, whether it's HOA or just some citizens in the neighborhood, how do they start that? What is the first thing they can do? Can they reach out to you
They
and talk to
can,
you?
yes. And we have done that in the past. Sometimes it's even just tree substitutions, like a tree might be dying, and I can reach out um, and give suggestions on new trees for that spot. But yes, they could definitely reach out to me. And we do also have two other staff members now, and I don't want to forget about them too, because we do kind of work together as a team now. But they are in the planning department, and they do also have a good amount of background in landscape architecture and landscape design. So now where I'm not just the only, the town's only plant guy. So we do have some other eyes that can look at, developing or designing, pollinator gardens, or even if an HOA wants to put together a design, volunteers put it together, or they hire a company, which is really not that expensive to have someone put together a design for you. But we'd be more than willing to kind of look over the design and give them any pointers or tips on how, from installation to maintenance
Right.
to anything.
Right. And then I know I'm gonna meet with Pam from the Garden Club. Even they can assist with that, and I
Yes,
think y'all work
sure,
hand to
yes,
hand, close with
we
that.
do.
So there's a lot of resources that people can use, whether they want a personal pollinated
Yes.
garden in their yard or maybe in their community at like a shared space or something like that. So, so Friday, what do you tell people? Why should they come out here Friday?
We've got a little, so for Friday, for Arbor Day, we're trying to, because in the past it had been like, days of service or just planting trees. We did things pretty heavily focused on kids. We're trying to open it up to all ages, still keep that focus on kids because we really want kids to come out and get kids engaged. But I'll just say that even if you can't or you're not that interested in the volunteering to plant the trees, we are going to have some really great giveaways and instructional, programs later in the event, and then we also will have the movie. But I would say, if you want to add some plants to your garden or talk to a master gardener to get some advice, or even if you just want to show up to have, some popcorn and watch a movie on a Friday night, the weather's going to be beautiful, you just come on out to Millbridge, and it's going to be a great event.
Yeah, it sure will, and I encourage everybody to come out. And I think it's a lot of people in town that is interested in trees and nature and even pollinated gardens and stuff like that. So be opportunity to find out how they can
Yes,
get involved.
exactly.
And there may be some things that they can get involved in long term. So really appreciate having you on the show, Eddie.
you.
I think this is great. Be looking forward this weekend to all the activities going on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you for joining
Yes,
me
sir.
today. And we mentioned Pam from the Garden Club, Pam Eagles. This is where I'm gonna go next. We're gonna meet with Pam. We're going to change locations from Millbridge here to we're going to go to Main Street Park. It's a beautiful park there. You know,
Yes.
you guys put a lot of work in that park, and we're going to go there and meet with Pam. So let's meet over there. Thank you for joining me. Well, hello, Rolesville. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm here in this beautiful location in Main Street Park. We're kind of in the back, not far from Scarborough Street. You probably have been back here, we in front of this beautiful garden that was done by the Boy Scouts many years ago.
Yes, indeed.
And now the garden club is really keeping it spruced up, and it really looks nice. I don't know how many times y'all visit a park, but this is a little bit outside of the main area of Trail A. I think this is on Trail B. So come by and take a look at that. And kind of in celebration of Arbor Day coming up next week, I wanted to speak to one of the main people in Rolesville that has been, I guess I've been knowing Pam Eagles for about 28 years or longer. She's really special to my heart. And she's really, Rose is in her heart, and I know it is. And I'm really honored to have the pleasure of talking to her today. And we're going to be talking about the Garden Club. One of the things that's been a very impactful thing to Roseville, but not something that probably people hear about every day. It sort of works behind the scenes, and it really makes things lovely and works real well. And I want you to get to meet Pam today, especially for the new people that hadn't met her. Many of you know her already, know her really well, but I want her to introduce herself. She is the former First Lady of Rolesville. So if you've been here probably the last 6 years, that was before your time here. But she has not stopped putting her love in this town. And I want you to introduce yourself, Pam. Welcome to the show today.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I feel like there's nothing to say. You have really built me up. I was not expecting that, but that's how friends are, and we have been friends for years. I am the president of the local garden club. We started the club 14 years ago, and actually I've probably been the president all but 2 years. But that's going to change because we've got new people in the club that are excited about it. But we are sitting here in front of the frog pond, and it is a garden that a Boy Scout, he did his Eagle Scout project here. It's been, good grief, 16 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And went away to school, and he had left the frog pond, which at that time it was a pond full of water, and we noticed that it was kind of getting into disarray, and there were lots of mosquitoes when you come around the bend here. And we decided, you know what, there's a lovely tree canopy, there are deer and bunnies everywhere, but you can grow. And so we got together and we have brought this garden into fruition to let people see, you have deer, you have rabbits, you have a tree canopy, but you can still have a garden. So that's what kind of started all of this.
Yeah, the garden club, like you mentioned, been around a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all have done a lot of things over the years. I know even before downtown became really, like it is today, you guys are doing stuff down there.
Yes,
even with the old town hall. A lot of people don't remember the old town hall. A lot of people don't remember Puffs. They don't remember that old downtown. And but you guys was working down there back then. So tell me a little bit of, I think you was a charter member. I'm pretty sure you were
How did the original Gardens Club get started?
The original garden club started, well, we met at town hall and put out a call to, area people, anybody who wants to be a dirt ball. That's what I call gardeners because, I'm usually up to my elbows in dirt
Hmm.
because, that's what you have to do to be a good gardener. We're in the soil, we're propagating, we're planting, and so I was calling friends that I knew felt the same way and wanted to do that, and so there were about 14 of us that met at town hall, and we met for about 6 months. We even went on into Raleigh and met with Raleigh Garden Club to kind of let them be our prototype, and we just couldn't get it together. So we all stepped back and were rethinking, okay, what are we going to do in a garden club? And about a year later, we met in my living room. There were 14 of us at that point, and we started the Community Gardeners of Rolesville Garden Club because we had already tried Rolesville Garden Club. And so, there we were. And,
Yeah.
one of our first projects was we went to the middle school and sold popcorn on movie night
Hmm.
because we were like, okay, we want to do all these things. We want to enhance where we live and make our community look nice. And we also want to educate others on how you can make your own little piece of Rolesville look nice because so many people have no idea.
That's right.
It's amazing. And since that time, I've become a master gardener here in
Hmm.
Wake County. And once again, it is amazing the people who want to plant a flower but have no idea.
No idea how to do it these
Mm,
days. But thinking about, I've been here a long time.
yeah.
Just, I knew Frank for a long, long time, former mayor here in Roseville. And in the little town hall we had downtown, we had probably 1,000 people back then. It was a
Hmm.
very small little town. And I remember y'all did a project for the town hall down there. You did a
We did.
project out on the street,
There was that
beautifying.
little crosswalk.
That's right.
Yes, indeed. We were out there in the broiling hot sun, getting all the weeds out of the crosswalk because Rolesville at that time, we took care of, our own little
Yeah.
curbing and whatever. And so we had to get that cleared out so we could plant some perennials. And we did a lovely little planting of black eyed Susans, and they were beautiful.
Hmm.
But, anything you plant, you've got to maintain. And maybe we didn't do such a good job of
Did
that.
a great job. I can remember today, what it looked like. And, downtown was quaint back then. It wasn't like it is today.
No.
It was very rural looking,
Yes,
and
indeed.
it really added a lot of spice to downtown, which you guys did. You did a great job of that, and there was a little town hall there. For people that don't know where we're talking about, it's kind of where the temporary parking lot is. It's on the corner that doesn't have a building right now. We used to have the town hall building on
Hmm.
there, but that's the corner we're talking about, and did a great job there. So so what do you find most inspiring about doing garden work? Is that something it just gets your mind on it, and you don't it's sort of therapy for you, or
It
what?
is therapy. I have saved, and I shouldn't even say I saved anything because if I see $100 hosta, I'm going to buy it because that's part of my crazy. But the therapy that you get from just ripping something out,
Hmm.
and it may not even be something that you
Hmm.
thought, oh, I want to rip this out. But if something's going on before you know it, you have cleared a whole
Hmm.
area and you're making something beautiful.
Yeah, I know. I know. Farmers sometimes they're really inspired by seeing something grow. Plant
Mm.
seeds and you see something grow. Does that describe the kind of way you are in your garden club people? Y'all enjoy seeing it grow,
We do.
seeing it
Well,
flower.
I mean, we came here and this was full of water.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately we got pointed, I don't even remember what we used, but we poked holes in the liner so we could get all the water out and get all the mosquitoes
Right.
out. And, the little frogs, they went down to the creek there, so they
Mm-hmm.
were all right. And then we were thinking, okay, how are we going to be successful with this? And we
Right.
knew we had to get that liner just right so that it would drain. And then we had to choose the plants that, maybe the deer were going to nibble on them. I know last year I was down here cleaning out because as everybody else has experienced, we've got a lot of stilt grass down here. So from now through November, we'll be down here pulling grass because that is just such an invasive here in our area. But I found a little home of bunnies all down in the stilt grass last year.
That's cool.
It was, and there they were, and their mom felt very comfortable leaving them here during the day, and here I was trying to cover them back up because I didn't want predators to be aware that they were here. But I mean, and snakes, we dig up snakes in here all the time. They may be just laying, sunning themselves, but take a stick and ask them to go away, and
Yeah.
they will.
Yeah, and for people watching, I think Candace, as we was walking down here, she brought up about snakes. She saw a snake in here one day. Like Pam said, just leave it alone. It'll go away. I know people, Pam, they just see a snake in there, it won't come back.
No.
And snakes, take my word for it. Leave them alone. You don't step on them. You see them first, and they'll just be fine.
I know.
But
I
we're gonna
found
have
a
snakes in
little
an area
snake
like this.
in my backyard last night. I
Yep.
was out checking tomatoes and peppers, and I thought that looks weird. And I got down. It was a little, just a baby garter
Right.
snake. But I mean, that little juvenile. He turned up, looked at me, picked his head up, and I said, "I feel like I should pet you or something, but I don't want to upset you." So I just took a picture of him and sent it to a friend who I knew would be scared to death, and she was.
Yeah.
And disgusted that I would be taking time with the snake.
So Pam, you mentioned a master gardener. What is that?
That is through Extension of Wake County. It is a program that each county, or most every county in North Carolina, has through North Carolina Extension, through NC State, and they train people who want to be involved in that program to be able to give back to their community, be it individual gardeners, be it, community schools, maybe a community garden, or going to libraries and doing a ready, set, grow. As a matter of fact, I've talked to Sherry up at the farmer's market, and she has now an educational space at the farmer's market
good.
shop. And so we're going to get something going there to, help people see I can garden.
You're right.
Yes,
Right.
and I can be successful.
Yeah.
I can make a tomato sandwich that I
Yeah.
grew myself.
Yeah, that is fantastic. And so in your club, how big is your club now? And how many master gardeners in there? Is that something they strive to be?
I'm the only master.
You're the only
gardener.
master.
Well, see, you have to apply for the program. You have to be accepted into the program. Then you have 6 months of class work, and it's once a week, 6 months, 4 hours a week.
Right.
And then if you're successful, a lot of people do not make it through the program.
Yeah.
And so it's.
And you did that many years ago, if I recall.
I've been a master gardener for 11 years.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I was thinking it's been quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all have events and things that I think I remember seeing you at the farmers market one time.
Mm-hmm.
You had your tents set up there. And,
I'm there every other week with Master Gardeners, and we do a garden club plant sale, which is coming up on May 16th. If that's a Saturday, it's May 16th. And, we'll have selections from our own gardens.
Mhm.
And like I say, it may be a piece of $100 hosta. It may be a ligularia that you've never seen before. It could be pulmonaria. That's one of my favorites. And epimediums are one of my new favorites. And, we divide our plants and we have them there. And you get a much better deal from us than you do when you have to get a local garden center to kind of hunt it down for you. So
Yeah.
be on the lookout for us.
That's great. That's one of the questions I'll ask you. Do you have a favorite plant? Do you have a favorite that you say, that's my favorite?
I would say, thank you. Right this minute, probably my favorites are the astilbes because they're so light and feathery. They just kind of dance and they're putting out their little shoots now to bloom. So an astilbe, and that's a nice little shade, part sun plant.
So, all plants are different, and some of them are harder to grow than others.
Mm-hmm.
And so are there some plants that people can have that doesn't take a lot of maintenance and they won't kill them?
Depending on, I would say start out with an annual garden. Start out with something that you're going to, find at any little garden center, something that has color
Simple.
that you like, something that has smell that you like, and something that has a form that you like. Start out with that.
Mhm.
and see how that goes, and then you'll discover, hey, I can collect seed and I'll do this from seed next year, or I can take cuttings and I'll root those cuttings over the winter months, and then I'll have more of these plants. And especially that with your perennials, because you can divide perennials and that is your propagation by division.
Right.
You can root perennials, air layering, put something down on the ground and make sure that it's covered with soil, and then you're air
Mm.
layering, and that's called propagation. Or take cuttings
Mhm.
and put them into. I have a bog in my backyard that I have made from peat moss, and I have a lot of carnivorous plants. But I also find if I take a cutting off something and put it down in that bog, it's going to root. It's that peat moss staying damp that just is the perfect situation for that. I've rooted all kinds of dahlias
Mhm.
because who does not love a dahlia?
That's right. Um, now I know Frank was involved somewhat. Frank's passion was trains, though.
Yes, indeed it was. I still have his train house in my backyard.
Yeah, people haven't seen that. That'd be something good. Do you show people that
I
sometimes?
do. We go out there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and here are all the things. I really don't know what to do with them, but
Right.
this is where he spent a lot of his time.
So if you have a passion for trains, you need to see this. It's right here in Rolesville. Pam lives on Main Street, and she says she'd be glad to show it to you. It's really impressive. But Frank's passion with trains, but I think he helped a lot with the garden club.
I
And
did not realize what Frank did.
mm,
Yes, I thought he loved the town
right,
more than he loved home. And I have since, I didn't even know how to crank a lawnmower.
right.
No, I mean, it was just, I had my own little battery operated weed eater that I could take care of my little areas, but I had no idea. I
Mm,
don't know where I thought the leaves went or how the grass got cut, but Rolesville has rallied around me, and I do all those things. And if I have a problem with it, I know I can pick up the phone and call. So Roswell is a lovely community.
it is.
We've jumped from, I think Frank and I were number 347 and 348 when we bought our little Roswell license plates
Mm,
when we moved here in 86. But, now there's 14,000 of us.
right.
And, but Roseville is still, there's a heart here.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember every year you had to buy license plates, and I
Hmm.
don't think you bought the Rolesville license plate at one time, but most people bought those, and
Yes, indeed.
it was something special. But I guess one of the things, being that you and Frank kind of was together, with Garden Club somewhat, it became very personal, I guess.
Well, it did. And that's how we kind of took over and started a celebration of our veterans,
Uh huh.
because the town and the garden club,
Hmm.
we're in a partnership together. We hold a Veterans Day and a Memorial Day
Hmm.
celebration service
Right.
for our veterans, and we do that at town hall.
Hmm.
Years ago we did it up at the corner where cobblestone is now, but there was just a little split rail fence, and there was the veterans memorial type thing there. And then when the garden club here went and we became a part of the garden club of North Carolina, we were able to raise funds
Hmm.
and purchase the Blue Star Memorial, and that's now at town hall.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate you bringing up the veterans, Pam, because that was special, and also Frank was a veteran.
He was.
And that was a very big passion of his, and we we I don't know if you know it or not, but Rolesville is very veteran dominated. We got more veterans than a lot of towns in
Yes, indeed.
Rolesville,
And we
and
support those
we try to
people, and we appreciate
we
them.
that's right,
Yes, indeed.
we exactly right. And you guys from the Garden Club was the original supporters, and then the town over the years got more involved in. So I remember even the Blue Star was a big thing y'all brought to
Yes,
town,
indeed.
and it,
We raised funds, and that drizzly, I guess it was a Monday morning, way back. I forget what year it was at this
mhm,
point, but we got out and dedicated that Blue Star Memorial and had a
mhm,
beautiful crowd as dump trucks went by, because Roseville was just beginning on that verge of we're growing, and so we've seen so much in all these years we've
yeah,
been here.
yeah,
We truly have.
we've seen a lot, and there's been a lot of change, and but it's I think we got a bright future. You know, that used to be
Absolutely.
our slogan.
Yes, it was.
You know, small town, bright future. You
Absolutely.
probably remember that.
Yes, I do.
And I think so. In the garden club got a bright future too. I know you guys are doing a lot of things like we talked about Veterans Day. You do things around Arbor Day too. But when we got the 250 coming up, and
Mm-hmm.
I know y'all been involved in that somewhat. You know, I remember 50 years ago when we had the bicentennial. It
Mm-hmm.
was easier to pronounce. Number one,
We were kids then.
I was in high school. I
Yes,
was a
indeed.
senior, and but it was a big thing, and I don't see the bigness this time. It's going to
Mm-mm.
be more. You know, we're planning to have a special, you know, Fourth of July event and type things like that in town, but I don't see all the interest as it was.
I
Uh,
think centennial, when anything has a tennial like that,
right.
that is when it gets to be a big thing. And we're halfway in the middle now. And the garden club is very excited. We've got a lot of kids events that we're going to be working with at the farmers market, at Arbor Day, where we'll have a presence
Mm-hmm.
there, and just so the kids can understand,
Hmm.
red, white, and blue is important, and it's really important when we're celebrating these events
Right.
because America doesn't turn 250
No,
every year.
they don't.
No, and that did not
And
come without a price.
and
And we need to remember that history is important.
yeah, and you remember this, mentioned the centennial thing, and we will not be here for the tricentennial.
No, we won't.
I mean, that's another 50 years away. But I do hope we have a nice 250 this time, and I hope people real honor the country from a 250 standpoint,
It's
and
very important.
and I hope the tricentennial 50 years from now will be much bigger.
Our grandchildren will be a part of
That's
that.
right. That's
Yes, and
right.
I hope they're out leading the way.
I hope so too. They'll be our age
That's
probably.
exactly right.
So I really hope they do. As for the garden club, you know, I think you're going to be part of it for a long, long time. You know, you have no
Well, I
plans.
hope so.
You won't be part of it. So what do you see in the future? Do you see what do you see after this year, after we do the 250 and stuff? What do you see the future of the garden club?
I
Anything
see,
different?
I want to see growth. I want to see a young people's garden club. As a matter of fact, I met over Granite Crest. I went and met with a group of neighbors
Hmm.
there who are younger people with children growing up, but they want to introduce some gardening into their neighborhood. So I have high hopes for them starting a club and, come to the old people and let us,
Right.
help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think we got a lot of new neighborhoods coming in.
Mm-hmm.
We do a lot with the monarch butterfly. I think that was something that we've been doing for several years now with the pollinated gardens and
The
stuff like.
pollinate. The best thing is the pollinator garden there at Town Hall.
Right.
If you've not been up there, go up there. They have done a wonderful job, and it's beautiful, and it's doing exactly what it's
That's
supposed
right.
to be doing.
It's supposed to attract bugs.
That's exactly right. And if you don't roll over in there with them, they're not going to bother you.
No, they're not.
No, I have bumblebees that I pet in my garden, so there you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Gardeners are just odd people. We're good people, but we're odd
You're
people.
nature people.
We are absolutely.
Kind of connected. Garden club's kind of connected with nature and really all nature. I mean,
Mhm.
bugs is part of nature.
And I had a snake for 3 years named Athena who I felt like would follow me around the garden.
Right.
But when Athena got mating age, she was
She
very not nice.
she wasn't.
No, so I had to tell Frank that she's got to go somewhere.
And
So I assume she's in Edgecombe County on
Yeah.
the farm down there.
We relocate them. I used to relocate them from my yard too, but not too far, not out of the neighborhood. But you know,
Hmm.
that's back when you had some vacancies around. It's
Hmm.
hard to relocate unless you come somewhere like this.
Well, it is. I mean, I have a possum right now. I feed him every evening. Dr. Mead lives out there at the train house somewhere.
So hopefully there's people, you know, that watch this that want to get involved with the club, Pam. So maybe what's the first start? Come to the farmer's market, meet you at the farmer's market, give you a call.
Yes, indeed.
What is what's the
Come by the farmers market. You'll see the Master Gardener tent, and I will be there. Call me. I'm the only Eagles here in Rolesville, so I'm kind of easy to find. Look on our Facebook page. We do have a Facebook page. So, look, and it'll give you the information. We meet the second Monday of each month, and we meet at the chamber. We're members of the chamber, so, we try to help them out a little bit. So there's so much to get involved in as far as gardening. So if you're a dirtball, there's no reason to be sitting there thinking, I don't have any friends like me, because you have us.
That's right.
Absolutely.
It's a small family.
It is. And a growing family.
Yeah. How much it costs to join?
Right now, we're just trying to get you in there. Usually we have annual dues of $20 a year, so it's not going to break the bank. But
No.
if $20 is not something you feel like you want to part with, you can be in the garden club.
We can make it work.
That's exactly right.
We can make
You may
it
have
work.
to work harder, but you can be in there.
That's right. That's right. Well, Pam, any closing thoughts? I really enjoyed having you today. Every time I talk to you, I learn a lot.
Well,
I mean,
that's sweet. Thank you.
And you got your pulse on a lot of things. I think we could sit out here and talk all day.
Well, I think we could. That's what old friends do. But definitely, get to the farmers market on Saturday. There's going to be a lot of kid interaction with the garden club, and learning as well as planting. We'll have little seedlings you can take up. You can decorate a flower pot, pinwheels in red, white, and blue. Just anything to get you going on the fact that we're here celebrating 250 years. Then Arbor Day comes up, in 2 weeks? 2 weeks, is it a week from Friday or 2 weeks from Friday? I'm not even sure what date we're But anyway, look for Arbor Day information, because the garden club and master gardeners will be there, and the town will be giving away seedlings of dogwood and redbud. And there's nothing any more gorgeous in the spring than dogwoods and redbuds, so you need those. And I'll talk to you about where to place them in your garden and how to care for them. So, get out and be a part.
Be a part. Yeah, and Pam mentions the farmers market. We got a nice little farmers market. Sherry does a fantastic job with
Absolutely.
that. And it's growing all the time.
What?
And we got a little visitor here.
What is it?
It was some kind of little lizard. So
I felt it touch. Oh, it's still on me.
Uh-oh.
Okay, look, are
it's
they
a little
called
lizard.
skinks? They're called something.
Yeah. Oh,
He's here on my foot.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
I don't know if you can
Here you
catch
go.
that.
Can you get
catch
down?
that?
Come here. Come. It's okay.
Zoom in a little bit.
It's okay.
We have a cat.
This is what gardeners do.
Yeah. We have a
Snow
cat.
White.
And that thing will come right up to the window. And it just freaks the cat out.
Well, I know that angers the cat.
Yeah, the cat really freaks me out. But as for the garden club and farmers market, we got a great little farmers market. So make sure you attend that. I'm imagining if you like something there that's grown here, tomatoes, flowers, or whatever, the garden club is right there to help you figure out how you can do that.
That is exactly right. I'm just going to plug one little minute. History Society and the Little House Museum.
Yes.
We also have a garden there that we grow edibles and ornamentals that would have been more colonial. So, maybe what William Rolls was planting in his gardens here in Rolesville, we've got little examples of what's going on, and, it's a little fenced garden.
Yeah.
It's just, very nice. Get involved with history and get involved with the garden.
Yeah, I appreciate you pitching that, because that's a nice little museum over
Yes,
there.
it
There's a lot of
is.
artifacts. A lot. Mike has done a lot of
Yes,
good
he
work
has.
in finding artifacts in there. But it's been a joy, Pam.
I've
I
enjoyed
really
it.
appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to meet today,
Well, thank you for asking me.
and really enjoyed it. Thank you a lot.
Me too.
Appreciate it, Rolesville, and we will see you soon. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us today on the show. We had a great show. Great to be out here in the parks. We're enjoying both parks today, and it's been a great time out here. I want to thank Eddie and Pam for joining us today on the show. We had a great time talking to them about many things. So if you're interested in nature and trees and being outside, make sure you get involved in doing some stuff. We got a lot of things going on and a lot of ways you can get involved in. So thank you for joining the show. Just want to remind you, got several things coming up this weekend. I believe it's going to be one of the biggest weekends that we've had in Rolesville in quite a while, because the weather's getting better and there's a lot of things planned. We have the car show you can attend, the car show, barbecue and band at the park, the park over behind Food Line. You can join that. That's going to be a really great event over there. Saturday, Friday night, you can do the Mingle on Main, and also we've got Arbor Day here in this park at 5:30. So a lot of things going on. Make sure you enjoy your weekend, get out, have a good time, and see you on the next show. Thank you for joining us.